Hi, it's Cassie. Today we are going to be working with this really super fun Maker's Movements die set. It's called Nested Polaroid die set. It's got 9 pieces in it, and I'm just going to show you a different way that you can use this. Okay, at first I was thinking of cards and scrapbook pages, some really fun stuff. If you notice here, it's got like Polaroid shaped dies here, so you can cut out, you know, this in either white or pretty fun pattern and put a photograph in here or a sentiment, whatever you like. And there's several different sizes, as you can see here. We're going to use a couple of them, and then there are also some other sort of extra bits. There's this really fun banner for maybe words or sentiment, or for layering, and then there's some cute patterns. We've got a heart and a banner and a little diamond, and then, you know, the line piece that they could sort of stick on to make like a banner or something. Really, really fun set, and so many awesome ways that you can use it. I'm gonna make a small journal out of it today. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. So now I've got some fun papers. These are sneak peek actually of a paper collection that I'm releasing soon with Kassy's Parlour, but I thought I'd give you a fun little sample of it today. And I printed some on vellum. How fun is that? So we're going to use these, make it a really fun, bright journal. I've got a stamp set, I've got some other things here, and we're just going to have fun and play, okay? So I'm putting this stuff aside for a minute so we can make room for our crossover 2. That is what I'm going to use to cut all of this out. Okay, so I've got my crossover 2 machine. It's for fabric and paper. It's super strong if you've never used one before, and really fun and easy to use. You can do multiple layers in it. It's really a great machine. Very, very strong and durable. Okay, so we're going to be cutting paper only today, but I am going to show you how you can cut multiple layers of paper with this machine. So it's got, if I do have a video showing sort of all the parts of this and how to use it on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out if you want to learn more about how to use this machine. But just so you know, it's got a dial here that determines how large or small of a sandwich you need for the pressure, the amount of pressure needed to go through the machine. So the first thing we're going to do is actually, we'll start with the largest Polaroid die, which is this one, okay? And we will get the cover. So we're going to do the front and back cover. This is the cover. Look at how fun this paper is. I'm so excited to use it. It's really fun. Very bright, fun, poppy kind of colors. Okay. So what I envisioned for this was that, like, this would be the spine, and this is the cover and the insert pages, and then I would cut this out twice and sort of put it all together, and let's see what we get, okay? So I've decided that this paper, that I want it to be in this orientation, this landscape, and I want this to be part of the spine. Look at how cool that's going to be. I'm so excited. So let's see. I'm going to cut them out separate because I want to make sure I get proper placement for each of them, okay? And so then I'm going to grab some of my low-tack tape just to make sure, it's the brand new roll here, just to make sure it's going to stay in place and not move around while I'm putting it through the machine. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to flip this over because we want to cut into this clear cutting plate, okay? And so then I'm just going to bring this wheel down. All right, and oops, let's go up to 4. Let's see, there we go. So if it's too much or too little, you know, it will let you know. But again, this is a very strong machine, and can take really anything. I've been super impressed with it as I've been using it for projects. Okay, so we've got the first one here. All right, and let me just show you what it cuts out, okay? And we've got some leftover here. We could use that for layering or whatever. That's a fun piece. I would not throw that away. Now you see that it cut out the middle and the front, right? So actually what I'm going to do here is to make this cover, I'm going to pop this up a little bit, and we're going to cut another piece of white just to layer it up, because there's no way to make it not cut this out, but I still really think this could be a fun cover for a journal. Okay, so we're going to put that aside for a minute, do some more cutting. When I'm working on a project, I really like to cut everything out at once, and then work on assembling and everything, so that it just makes it easier. Okay, so let's cut this one out. So run this through again. I'm going to put this upside down, and I can just leave it where it is. I don't have to bring it back through the other side. All right, and I tend to hold this down just to anchor myself. Let it run all the way through. All right, and so now we've got the other side cut. Okay, so let's take this off of here. So we're done with this die for now. All right, and then we will glue this all down to a base. Okay, and that is what's going to help us keep all of these parts together. We'll do some popping up of some of it. It's going to be really fun. Okay, so we've got the front and back cover. The next thing I want to cut out with the crossover 2 is going to be the smaller this smaller Polaroid piece out of a different contrasting piece of paper. So look at how bright and fun this is. I'm so excited. So we're just going to pick an area. Okay, I'm just going to kind of put it off in the corner, and we're going to cut this out. Okay, same thing. Just run it through. And that cracking is okay. That just means it's doing its job. No big deal. All right, so flip this. I mean, you could cut multiples at one time too, but look at how fun this is. I'm loving this paper with this Polaroid die set. I think that this was like a total match made in heaven. Look at that Polaroid. Oh my gosh. I love it so much, I can't even tell you. And then you have this fun square in the middle you can use for layering or whatever you want to do. Okay, so let's put that aside. We'll keep that too. I only need one of those for this particular project. Okay, so let's see. I think that's all the cutting out we need to do with the machine. No, there's one more thing, sorry. We need to make page inserts. So we're going to take this big die back, okay, and let me find, I've got a pile over here now. Got to sift through. Okay, so I have pre-cut 2 pieces of just white, like stamping cardstock. Okay, you could use anything though. You could use mixed media paper, watercolor paper, whatever you like, whatever you're going to do in your journal. And I would do multiples of these. I'm just doing 2 just to sort of give you an idea of what you can do, but this is what I would do. So I've cut it in half the long way, and then I scored and folded it in half the other way. Okay, so I've got 2 of these, and I'm going to use this large die, but let me show you how I'm going to do it, because I want the insert pages to fit in there, and I want to cut out this inner square, but I don't want, you know, I want these edges to stay folded and not cut, okay, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to line up my paper so it's just on this side of the cut, so this edge won't cut out. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So I am going to really carefully stick this down, right, because we definitely don't want it to cut. And I'm going to flip this over actually, and it's okay. There we go. And I'm going to stick it down on this side too, because I really don't want this to move. Okay, so I'm going to get some more of my low-tack tape. Don't be afraid to use it. This is what it's made for. Use it up, okay? So stick it down on both sides. Make sure your die is going to stay. And we don't actually need this one, I think, because the ones on the top are fine. Okay, and then we will stick this up. Okay, and let's run this through. I'm going to adjust my number just a little bit. Okay, so now we've cut it out, and whoops. Here we go. So now we've got 2 sets of just 2, I guess, signatures. You could obviously put them together, or you could have them be separate. Either way, you've got pages for the inside of your journal now. Okay, so now we have all of our parts ready to go. Okay, so we've got the inner pages. I'm just going to set those aside for now. We've got these two front and back covers, all right, and this we're going to use in a minute. Okay, so let's just set those off to the side. So let's work on our cover first. Now I did say that I had bases for these, okay, so these are right here. They're just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because that's the size of this. So if you were going to make a card, you know, the standard size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, this would fit perfectly right on the front. How cool is that? So, so if you were going to make a card out of this, that is a really nice feature. All right, so I am just going to stick this down with some sticky tape. You could use red liner tape. This is just double tack tape from scrapbook.com, but it is really strong. So I'm using that for this wider section. I do have some thin red liner tape because, let me show you. This area is much thinner than this, and I do have thinner tape of this, but I just want to show you, you can use red liner tape, you can use just double-sided adhesive, anything that's going to be fairly strong. This is just going to be the cover of the journal, you know, so it's not necessarily going to get a ton of, you know, wear and tear in the way that you would want like a really super strong tape. But this red liner tape, and even that, is very strong. It's definitely strong enough to handle this. So I'm just sticking the tape down. Okay, I've put the adhesive on here. Really quick though, I'm also going to score the front and back so we can make our spine. Okay, so let me get this out of here. So I'm just lining this up so I've got a good straight line, and I really want to be probably at the 3 here, and I'll make sure that's on the front and back. And now I've gone over my tape. I should have done this before. I didn't think of it, but it's fine. This is going to be where we fold it, okay? And so that just means that's going to be super strong because it's got some tape there in the middle. Really nice. Okay. Ooh, I can't wait for this to be done. This is going to be so cute. I love this. I love this paper. I love this journal. This is super fun. Okay, let's do the same thing on this one before I put the tape on it. All right, and we'll just score it at 3. Now, if you wanted a little less spine and a little bit more of the cover here, you could just make it a little bit shorter, you know, 2 or 2 1/2 even. However big you want that spine to be, that's fine. That is totally fine. You would just have more cover on either end there, which I think would also look really great. All right, let's put this away. Okay, and I'm going to, we'll first pull the backing off of this and get our white piece stuck down. All right, just make sure that first end lines up, and then I would go either on the top or the bottom and make sure that side lines up, and then I think you'll be good to go. Just smushing the rest down here. Look at this, it's turning out great. Okay, so this is going to be either the front or back cover. We're going to get that nice crease back in here for the spine. All right, so that's going to be the one cover. Now let's do the same thing with the other one. Okay, so now I've got 2 covers, one for the front, one for the back. They're the same at this point. Okay, this is going to be my back cover, and I also have these 2 pieces, which are pretty much the same, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this one, okay, and it is going to be the back cover, and so it's just going to sit flush inside here. So I'm just going to take my sticky tape, and I'm going to put it all the way around this square. Okay. You could use a taped runner, you know, if you have double-sided adhesive like gun. Any kind of tape will work here because this is just paper to paper and it's going to be flat right against it, no big deal, okay? But I've got this out, so I'm using it, but honestly you could use whatever you want. So I just want this. Now here I'm putting the same pattern back in, but if you would cut out, like let's say I decided to cut this big pattern out with this, you know, you could inlay a totally different pattern in here, and that would be really cool too. So lots of different choices and ideas with this die set. I just think it's so cool and innovative and going to be really fun for you to play with in so many different ways. And we're making a little mini journal here, but you could do you know, cards. You can use this on scrapbook pages. You can do so much stuff. All right, so that's going to be the back. Now the front, I would like to pop up a little bit. Okay, so I've got my my double-sided foam adhesive from Maker's Movement, and I've got one big piece left in here. I'm going to cut this to the right size so it really sticks up nicely. Okay, so we're just going to grab our scissors and I'm just going to wing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want a nice solid piece so that we can have it stick up and be really accentuating our focal point, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait to show you what we're doing. This is so fun. Okay, so this stuff is really nice. It's nice and thick. It's very durable. It's got a good firmness to it. So it's really going to hold its shape really well. All right, and we're just going to, and it's, you know, sticky on both sides. So what's better than that? And it's super sticky. Okay, so here we go. We're going to stick this onto our front cover, line it up as best we can. Now remember, this is a journal, so if things aren't exactly perfectly lined up or aren't sitting just right, it doesn't matter. It's just a fun little journal that we're making. You know, maybe it's going to be a junk journal or whatever you want. You can put your photos of friends, or you can design art pages with it or whatever. So now this has got some lift to it. Can you see there? Okay, and then we're just going to build on top of this. Okay, so first though, let's get this stuck together so then we have our shell of our journal here. So then we're just going to use our sticky tape, okay, and go on the back journal. I would say put the back into the front so that you don't have the seam facing front. That would be my suggestion. But, you know, there's tons of ways you can do this. And also, I'm just going to be sticking in the pages inside here. But if you wanted to sew them in and have the holes and do the signature like that, I mean, there's tons of ways you can customize this. This is just trying to give you a fun, different way to use this, this die set, and really just a quick sort of project for you. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to fold this again, and then I'm just going to let it sort of sit up like that. Okay, can you see here? And then I'm going to rest the top of that page, or of the end of that paper. I can kind of feel it resting here, and then I'm just going to stick it down. Okay, that way I know it's all lined up nicely. And there we go. And so look at this. Look at, I mean, we have a front and back cover of a journal, and then we can add pages in however we want, right? But how cute is that? Totally adorable. I'm in love. Okay, so let's just decorate the cover because that's going to be fun, and then we'll put our pages inside, and then we'll be done. So remember, this we cut out. This is awesome. I really like the way this turned out, and the fact that it's giving us a nice contrast against that blue and pink. So that is going to go on top, and then I don't know if we're going to use this anywhere. Maybe down here. That could be fun. But first, before we get there, because I like to sort of, I'm going to let this lay flat so that we can design our cover and it doesn't slip off. I like to, when I'm designing a page or a layout or something, I really like to just kind of play with it a little bit and let pieces be here and there, and then kind of move it around, decide where I want it, and then I'll stick it all down. So that, I think, is probably how I'm going to do that. This could also be used on the back. You know, you could do some other stuff on the back there to just tie it all together, but man, isn't that a cool journal cover? I'm totally loving this. Okay. So what I really want to do next, I've got this other piece of paper that I've designed that I printed on vellum. How fun is this? You can print anything on vellum, and it really gives you a different kind of look and feel, and it's super fantastic. So this is a stamp set from the Visible Image, and it's called Wings of Change. Okay. Really, really awesome set. And it's got some cool butterflies in it. So I was thinking I would like this butterfly to be my focal point on the cover here, because why not? Butterflies are awesome. And this one is really cool because it's got some print inside of it. Some text. Isn't that nice? And it's got like a fun hand-drawn kind of look to it. So we're just going to use that with our stamp block. Okay. And then I'm going to get my black StazOn ink. If you are going to ink onto vellum, I recommend using a solvent-based ink like StazOn or StazOn pigment even, because it's not going to run. Okay, so I recently rejuiced this StazOn pad. Can I tell you, I've had this StazOn ink pad for probably 15 years, and it's still going strong. I don't know, sometimes I'm really impressed by stuff like that. So I really kind of want both the colors, and I like where the grunginess is. So I'm just going to kind of go right here. And that's the really fun thing about these collage type papers is you can really just, you know, if you're doing something like this especially, there's a lot of different things that you can do with different areas of this paper. Okay, so look at this. Oh, I'm in love with it. I'm so in love with it. And actually what I think I want to do is do a couple layers. So we're just going to ink this up again. Okay, so I inked it up again, and then I'm going to stamp it down. And I think I'm going to do a couple layers of this. And maybe I'm going to do one more just for fun. And then we'll play with it once we cut it out and see how they go together. All right. Maybe I'll do a pink one, all pink. And actually, I think I'm going to do one of these smaller ones to put on the back. What do you think of that? That will be really cute. That'll help tie it all in together as well. It is really nice when you're doing journal covers, especially to help the front and back be cohesive, even if they're different. You know, if you had a different pattern or different things going on, it's still nice to add some elements that are similar so that you can have a cohesive design from the front to the back. Whoopsie. Okay, here we go. And let's do one more. I kind of like this yellow and, oh, here we go. We can do yellow and pink, and we'll just do a single one here. Okay, I don't know about you, but this looks really great to me. So now we have to do a little bit of cutting out. So I'm just going to cut each of these out. Look at how pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so now I have all of my butterflies cut out, and are they not the most darling things you've ever seen? Let me just hold them up close so you can see how cute they are. Printed on vellum and then stamped and cut out. Oh my gosh, I just love them so much. They're so fun. Okay, so this little one I decided is going to just go like back here somewhere, okay? So, okay, so I've got my Barely Art glue. I'm going to stick this one down onto the back here. Just a little bit of glue. I'm even going to just rub it around with my finger a little bit. Okay, get nice good coverage. And it is vellum, but this glue dries clear, and I have found that it works really well with vellum. You're not even going to be able to see it. Okay, so there's that. So then let's work on the front. I was thinking it might be cool if maybe I like fold the wings up, right? And then it's going to sit like this, right? And what if I had like 3 layers of it? I don't know. Let's just see how it looks. It could be really cool, or it could just be too much. You never know until you try. So I want to try. Man, this is such a pretty butterfly. Especially on this paper. I'm just really loving it. So maybe that last layer is going to lay a little bit flatter. Oh, if I can make it do that. Okay, and then see if it's like this. I don't know, that might be too much. To have the layers? I don't know. It's kind of cool though. What if I just have 2 layers? What if I take out this middle layer and just have 2 layers. I think that looks pretty cool. So yeah, maybe we'll do 2 layers, and I'll save this for something else. I think I like that. Okay, so that's going to be that, and then I think once I stick this all down, I kind of want to put this transform word. Let me show it to you here. It says transform right there. Kind of grungy, got some circles there. I'm thinking I kind of want that to be down there, and I'll just probably actually I've got some clear vellum. Maybe I'm going to stamp that on there. Let's do that real quick and see how that looks, and then we'll get everything stuck down. And then we've got our cover, which was really pretty simple to put together. You know, there's so many different ways you can go with this too. If you wanted to add string before you pop this up, you could have wrapped string around here and, you know, had it stick kind of hanging out behind there to the front cover. That would be really cute. You could add sequins, all sorts of stuff to this, right? And really just deck it out however you want. So possibilities are endless. I mean, how cool would this be just as an art journal too? If you put some watercolor or some mixed media paper or something in it, and then just have it as your own little fun art journal to play in. I would be so happy. I will be, because I'm going to create in this. It's just going to be so fun to get this out and have such a cute, fun journal to work in. You know, really helps to get your creative juices flowing, I think. So I'm just cutting this down. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just like it on the vellum there, and then we'll stick that right on top, and that's going to be super cute. Okay, so I like the placement of all of this. And I think it can be flat because that other part is raised. So I'm just going to keep using my Barely Art glue because it is a really great glue, especially for doing intricate stuff like this. And even if it squishes out a little bit, you know, it dries clear, so it's no big deal. Okay, so let's just get a little bit of glue behind both of these. This is the base that's going to provide sort of a frame for our focal point, okay? And I just use my hand usually and stick it down like this so that it has an opportunity to just kind of stay in place and not move around. And look at how cool that is just by itself. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love this so much. It's so fun. I hope that you're enjoying this and that you are going to make one yourself, because I'm telling you, it is a really good time here. So I'm mainly just going to put this glue in the middle where the body is and stick it down like this, kind of floating off to the side, but in that frame. Okay, and we're going to let the wings kind of be down a little bit. I don't mind them popping up. Oh, look at that, glue is making them pop up all on their own. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay, so maybe for the top layer, we are going to use some red liner tape, okay? And that is, it's just because the glue is wet. Once it dries, it'll be fine, but I want this to be ready to go right away. So we're just going to use red liner tape, and this also is clear, and it's got a lot going on, so you wouldn't see it anyway. Alright, so I put red liner tape on the top layer. Whoops. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Okay, and I just put it on the body part, and then we're just going to line up that body. Alright, and then we're going to let those wings kind of float up a little bit more. And then look at this cover. Oh my gosh. Is that not the cutest thing ever? Okay, let's add our transform, and we will use, actually I'm going to use this really thick or wide tape so that there's no seam when we go to stick this down. Alright, so I'm just going to actually cut off a piece that's going to be bigger than my transform, possibly, and then I will trim it down just so that the whole thing fits over this tape, or most of it at least. Okay, so there, most of it, just the end didn't quite make it, but that's okay. And then I'm going to trim the excess tape off here. I just found that this is the best way to do this when you have a piece of vellum like this. Okay, let's get that trimmed down. Perfect. Okay, so now all I have to do is peel off the backing of this, and now this is like a total sticker, right? You could run this through your Xyron if you have one. There's lots of ways that you can use vellum and different kinds of tape. Okay, so there we go. There is our cover. Super duper cute. Oh my gosh. Look at how dimensional that is. I absolutely love it. All made with the amazing Maker's Movement nested Polaroid die set. Alright, so now we just need to get some pages in here. So I've just cut out a couple, but of course you can do a lot more. Okay, so to put your paper in, your pages on the inside, there's a million different ways you can do it. We're going to do just a fun, simple way today. We're just taking scrap pieces of white cardstock. It doesn't have to be super heavy weight. Probably medium stock is just fine. And I've cut it to 4 1/4, okay, so it fits inside here perfectly. Okay, you could even cut it down maybe another 1/8 of an inch if you want it just inside a little bit, but either way is going to be fine. All right, and then we're going to get our scoring tool back out, and we're going to score some lines. Okay, so we want to go long way, and this is on centimeters, so that's not going to help you if I want to give you measurements. Here we go, we've got inches side. Okay, so we're just going to go at the 1/2 inch mark. Okay, every 1/2 inch I am just going to score this. Okay, so 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, and 2. All right. And what then you're going to do, and this can be as wide or as thin. I mean, like, this is just what I'm doing to show you the concept of how to do it, but honestly, you can customize this any way you want. So you're going to just do valley and mountain folds, right? So go back and forth, kind of like an accordion. All right. Okay. So now you'll have 2 of these, and these were 4 1/4 by 2 inches, and I scored every 1/2 inch. And then we are going to stick them together. So I'm going to use my double stick tape here. And first, we need to connect these together, okay? And we want to have, because we just have 2 pages, then we want to have 2 sort of mountains here, okay, to stick them to. All right, so you could do single pages and stick page, 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 page like that, or you can do it the way that we've done it. So first, I'm going to stick some tape on here, and on the other side. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 panels sort of, and then we're going to stick those to the other ones. Okay, and so just make sure they're all lining up. Okay, and then we're going to stick that down. All right, so now we've got a longer piece. Now, if you had a piece that was just longer to begin with, you wouldn't have to stick this down. But I had shorter pieces because I'm using my scraps. So anyway, in the end, you'll end up with this. All right, so then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to put tape on either end. And this, you do kind of want to make sure that this is good, strong tape. This is really strong tape, but you could use red liner here, or any kind of bookbinding tape. Anything that's just going to be super sticky, double-sided, or even wet adhesive, then you'd have to let it dry. So it's really up to your preference. Okay, so then I want to pinch all of this together so we just have it kind of like this, okay? And then we're going to stick it into our spine here. So first I'm going to line up the front half with the front part of my spine, and then squeeze it together, okay, and then line up the back half. And really you just want the end piece of paper to line up with the end of that thing. And I see that I didn't quite line it up very well, so it's sticking out of the end here. So I'm just going to trim mine up. There we go. Okay, so now you've got these little pieces on the inside here. Okay, so now you could even like work on these pages independent, you know, and if you had them like this, that's fine. Or if you cut them and just had single pieces, you could also have like different kinds of paper. If you wanted canvas for one page and maybe fabric for another page, maybe stamping card and you're going to stamp something and color it, or you're going to do mixed media paper, whatever you're going to do, you could also do it that way and have different kind of pages in here. You could even do tags and stick them in. There's lots of things that you can do here, okay? So here I'm just going to then put some adhesive on the back of this page. Make sure I'm on my spine. There we go. All right. And then stick it to the front, to the very first piece, okay? All right, and then the next one, I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure I'm on my spine. Okay, and then stick it to the other side. So now I could get 2 more pieces of paper, and like I said, I can just keep putting the same kind of paper or different kind of paper, and then you have your book. So then you open it and you've got all of your pages inside. And of course I can add more to the back of this. You could even put some of your pattern paper on the front and back covers on the inside. You can start decorating, you know, okay? You could paint on here. I mean, literally can do anything you want. So this is just to give you some ideas to help you get started and really to give you a jumping off point. And look at that cute little butterfly in the back. So here is our final project. Look at how adorable this is. Oh, I just love it so, so much. All right, there is our project for today. I hope that you enjoyed this. Remember, this is for the Makers Movement Nested Polaroid die set. So many things you can do with this die set. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to make my next journal because this one gave me so many ideas for more things, and cards even too. All right, well, you have a wonderful day, and thanks so much for watching.